How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about Joe Biden stumbling, bumbling, falling up the steps to Air Force One when he was on the way to the CDC in Atlanta, Georgia. Now, before I even get into the video, I just want to say one thing. I have zero sympathy for this man. Now, do I want him to get hurt out there? No, of course not. But as far as being like, oh my God, I'm not going to do all that. I'm just not going to do it. Not just because I have a nice box where my heart used to be and I'm a cold person, which I kind of am. Aside from that, there's been some things that Joe Biden himself has said that makes me feel that way. Before I go any further, let's roll the clip. In this clip, you're going to see Joe Biden fall from not one, but two different angles. After we get done watching that, I'll talk about what happened there. Then I'll give you the rest of my 2 cents, my deep detail analysis, and then I'll wrap it on up with a nice bow on top. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it. All right, so you saw that, you heard that. Now, I'm not really sure where to begin. There's quite a bit to quote unquote unpack here, as a cool kid say. First of all, he's okay, as far as I know. I don't see any kind of broken bones or anything like that. But he did tumble, stumble, bumble up the steps, and it didn't look good at all. Now, the excuse I heard right away was, oh, it was very windy and someone else almost fell. But you know what? I did not hear any excuses like this from anybody outside of Donald Trump himself when Donald Trump gingerly walked down the ramp at West Point, not even the full 12 months ago. This was June of 2020, like late June, so about 8 months ago almost. Now, Joe Biden said something about the whole thing when Trump did not fall down the ramp. He just carefully walked so he didn't fall. Joe Biden said something, which is part of the reason why I have no sympathy for this man. Because if I got to feel all bad, they'd be like, oh, are you okay for Joe Biden? Then why didn't Joe Biden feel the same way about Donald Trump? So check this out.
Look at how he steps and look how I step. Watch how I run up ramps and he stumbles down ramps, okay? Come on.
Oh, that's okay to say, though. That's perfectly fine for Joe Biden to say that, talking about, oh, look at me and I can run down ramps, run up ramps. Look at him. He can barely walk. Oh, okay. So now what you gonna say now? That you didn't straight fail on TV. The thing that Trump was trying to avoid, which is why he was walking like that, you actually did. Trying to be this young man doing this little brisk jog up the stairs, up the steps to Air Force One, and you fell straight down multiple times, stumbling. It was like, sir, you know what? I've seen this before in my regular everyday life. This is many years ago. I was in Virginia Beach and I was going to this store, and you know how regular stores are, like these kind of like big box. It might have been Office Max or something like that. I was trying to get some paper or something like that. But anyway, I'm going to Office Max and you got to park in the parking lot and cross the street that goes right in front of it. Not like an actual street with stoplights, but you understand what I'm saying? Like a shopping center street, basically. So I'm crossing that, and as I'm looking to my right, there's an elderly couple walking across, and then the man was stumbling really hard, just kind of out of control. And I kind of just paused for a minute because I'm like, he's about to fall. And he eventually did fall, so I was right there to just kind of get him up and get him back on his feet. I saw the same thing there with Joe Biden because it wasn't just one trip. It was like a trip and then another trip and a stumble and a bumble. I've seen that before in elderly people, right? And then when when I got him up, I could tell that he may have had, some type of something going on with himself to where he was not totally in control. You understand? Because he's elderly. That happens. It's not a thing to be ashamed of, but it is what it is. We got to face the music. You're 78 years old. You might not be in tip-top shape. That's probably why they did not allow him to be out there on the campaign trail at all, right? Because he's kind of out of his mind. But I digress. The whole point is that Joe Biden fell up the steps, stumbling and bumbling, but he tried to make fun of Donald Trump for not stumbling and bumbling down the ramp. Will the media cover this at all? Are they going to cover this? Because when Donald Trump had his little mishap, not even the mishap, when he just gingerly walked down the ramp and drank some water at West Point, it was a big story. All over all the mainstream media outlets, all the late night talk shows from Jimmy Kimmel to Jimmy Fallon and Colbert and everybody, John Oliver probably, they all covered it. Everybody covered it. Made jokes, laughing, hee ha ha. But now all of a sudden, oh, have sympathy. He's 78 and it was the wind. Oh, okay. Are we going to hear Joe Biden speak about this at all? Is he going to come out and make jokes about himself like Trump did? As a matter of fact, check this out.
1,106 cadets were graduating, and beautiful. So we walked like the equivalent of about 3 blocks, which was fine. We go on stage, which is fine. They make speeches, then I make a speech. It lasted a long time. I don't know, maybe 45 minutes. The sun is pouring down on me. Would you like to salute each cadet almost 600 times? You know what that is? 600 times! You go home and you say, it's like a workout without a weight, right? I was on the stage for hours. Hours! Sun, I came home, I had a nice tan. Meaning I had a nice sunburn. The general says, "Sir, are you ready?" I said, "I'm ready, General. Where are we going now?" And he goes like this, "Right here, sir." I walk on. I've got myself a problem, General, because I'm wearing leather bottom shoes, which is good if you're walking on flat surfaces. It's not good for ramps. It had no handrail. It was like an ice skating rink. I said, "General, there's no way I can make it down that ramp without falling on my ass, General." So I said, "General, get ready, because I may grab you so fast. Because I can't fall with the fake news watching." It turned out to be worse than anything. I would have been better off if I fell and slid down the damn ramp. So I start the journey, inch by inch, right? So I was bent over, right? And I'm going like this. So I took these little steps. I ran down the last 10. And by the way, their tape, take a look. In almost every instance, it ends just before I run.
Now, if Biden can come out and do that, then he gains some respect from me. Would I vote for Biden ever? Even if he did do that, no. But I'll respect him more. And the media, if they don't come out and talk about this in the real way, comparing what Trump did or didn't do, actually, because he didn't fall, he just walked gingerly. If they talk about that and how they covered it, and then talk about this the same way, then I'm like, okay, now you're being fair, now you're being balanced. But if they don't cover it the same way, if they try to ignore it, sweep it up under the rug, but anytime Trump has a booger in his nose or misplaced hair or his tan is a little bit too orange and they want to cover it, then you already know what time it is. I think we know anyway, as I close, that the media are going to be biased. Regardless of what's going on, we know it. But the more that we see Biden in his quote-unquote presidency, the more we see him there in that role, and unless he's covered, the less he's grilled, the less that's requested from him, we already know what time it is. The media are protecting him because they're in bed with the left. Figuratively, sometimes literally. That's a different story, and I digress. They're going to protect the left. So when some of these leftists on the internet, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, etc., say, "Oh, well, the right isn't getting censored. The right isn't having anything happen to them. Doesn't happen to us." Please. The right are the most marginalized, the most censored, the most hated when it comes to the mainstream media and social media. Now, in regular everyday life, it ain't like that. but regular everyday life is not the equivalent to politics or mainstream media or social media. And in these places I just mentioned, there's a heavy anti-conservative bias. It's kind of like human nature, I suppose, because on these particular platforms, mainstream media, social media is dominated by far leftists, kind of like ideologues that really believe in what they're talking about, or at least they're paid to do so. So they heavily attack us and censor us. And you're going to see this happen tonight. Watch the local, not local news, the national news tonight. ABC, CBC, not CBC, ABC, CBS, CNN, etc. Watch the news over on those channels and see what they say about this. See how they cover it. If it's the same as what they covered from Trump last time, then cool, great, bravo. But if it's not, then you already know what time it is. And I think I've been here for quite a while, for some years. You should already know. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? Do you think that the mainstream media are biased against people on the right because of how they cover certain stories? Are they going to cover this particular story with Biden actually falling on the steps differently than how they covered Trump not falling, just walking slowly? Whatever your thoughts on that are, let me know in the comments below. How do you feel about Joe Biden's cognitive abilities? All right, is he losing it? 78 years old, can't live forever. He's exhibiting some signs, in my humble opinion. I can't diagnose a man. I'm no doctor. But whatever your thoughts on that are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I stand. I've been saying that Biden might not make it throughout his first year in office. I heard him recently say President Harris by quote unquote mistake again. He's done that before. So did he come into this role knowing that it wouldn't last very long? He might have fell on purpose. So when they get him out of office, it wouldn't be a big surprise. They'll cite that. They'll say, well, he fell down the steps. He broke his foot playing with the cat and he's forgetting names. And then it'll be this whole big sympathy campaign. Oh, he's not doing very well. Praise be with him. But we've all seen this coming since he was running. The whole time he did not look very well. And he's not doing any better, at least in my humble opinion. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.